Hey, this is Mike with High Point Trails. Today we're counting down the 10 highest peaks in the lower 48. Big climbs, epic views, and one mountain that stands above the rest. Let's start the climb. Our number 10 highest peak in the contiguous United States is Crestone Peak, 14,300 feet of raw altitude in Colorado's Sangre de Cristo range. Now this is not your average hike. It's a rugged, very exposed Class 3 climb that demands both commitment and bravery. Now, most climbers tackle Crestone via the South Colony Lakes Trail, which is 14 plus miles and almost 6,000 feet of lung-crushing gain. But the payoff is unreal views of the San Luis Valley over to the west and the Wet Mountain Valley to the east. Now, Crestone is a true mountaineer's peak. It's not a casual day hike. And if you stand on that summit, you've earned some serious bragging rights. Number 9 on the list is the king of the San Juans, Uncompahgre Peak, which stands at 14,321 feet above sea level. Now this peak juts above all the other mountains in the area. It looks like a broken tooth from a distance, and despite its appearance, it's really not that challenging of a climb. You've got 8 miles round trip using the Nelly Creek Trail. It's about 3,000 feet of vertical gain, but most of the hike is Class 2, except for a little bit of a sketchy kind of exposure at the very, very top, but it's well worth it because the views from the summit are going to leave you slack-jawed. If you want big mountain vibes and you don't want all the bad exposure, you got to put Uncompahgre on your short list. Coming in at number 8, we've got 14,336 foot La Plata Peak, which is a real stunner in Colorado's Sawatch Range and dominates the eastern view from Independence Pass. Now this mountain's got everything. It's got soaring ridges, killer alpine views, and routes that range from kind of friendly to a full-on adventure. Now most hikers take the classic Northwest Ridge route, which is about 9.5 miles long, about 4,500 feet of vertical gain, but it's a solid Class 2. If you are much bolder, you'd want to go for the Ellingwood Ridge. Now this is a Class 3. It's a high Class 3 route, and it is not for the intermediate or the novice climber. But it is an epic climb if you can make it all the way to the summit. Either way, if you want Sawatch Range glory and incredible views of all the other peaks, including the collegiate peaks, this is the mountain for you. At lucky number 7, we meet Blanca Peak, the queen of Colorado's Sangre de Cristos at 14,351 feet. Now this is a big, bad mountain with big, bad mileage, 17 to 19 miles and about 6,500 feet of vertical gain just to reach the top. Now the standard hike is a Class 2 technically, but it's a very, very long day, and there's some route finding at the top, so this hike is not a walk in the park and definitely not for everyone. But if you've got the mental and physical fortitude and you want to be able to brag to your friends about a mountain they probably haven't climbed, you've got to put Blanca Peak on your list. Number 6 takes us all the way out to the epic Eastern Sierra Crest in California, where we find 14,379 foot Mount Williamson, towering over the town of Independence. Now to get to this summit, you've got to really, really want it. The Shepherd Pass Trail is your main ticket to about 12,000 feet, but after that the trail ends and the route finding begins. This monster of a mountain features almost 8,000 feet of vertical gain, boulder fields, and a choose-your-own-adventure sort of finish across a wonderland of beautiful High Sierra granite. There are no easy outs on this climb, no quick retreats. This is a remote, raw mountain that is absolutely unforgettable. This is the kind of climb you put in your resume because if you've stood on the top of Williamson, you have earned every ounce of that view. Cracking the top 5 is a mountain that is definitely in a league of its own. Washington's Mount Rainier is 14,411 feet of glaciers and volcanic rock. This mountain towers over the Pacific Northwest and is the highest summit in the Cascade Range. Now, Rainier is not just a hike, it's a full-blown expedition, and you'll almost certainly need a guide. The Disappointment Cleaver is the standard route, but that's still 14.5 miles of snow and ice and hidden crevasses and really, really steep slopes, so ropes and glacial gear are definitely required. This is a full-blown Class 3-4 climb with zero margin for error. Rainier is a peak that commands respect, but when you stand on the top, staring across the Cascade Range, you will understand why mountaineers call Rainier one of the greatest American climbs. Fourth place brings us all the way back to the Sawatch Range in Colorado, where the tallest of the collegiate peaks, 14,420-foot Mount Harvard, dominates the skyline northwest of Buena Vista. Now, importantly, don't let the Ivy League name fool you. Climbing Mount Harvard is a grind, and the South Cottonwood Creek Trail, which is the most popular route, is 14 miles long and covers about 4,600 feet of pain and gain along the way. And though the trail is Class 2, it steepens with every mile, so the closer you get to the top, the steeper you are climbing. But when you finally stand on the summit, surrounded by endless alpine peaks, every brutal step will have felt absolutely worthwhile. To get to the number 3 peak, we move just north of the collegiate peaks to the very aptly named 14,429-foot Mount Massive. Now, the name of this peak really does say it all, as Massive Summit Ridge sprawls across 5 separate sub-peaks, all of which are over 14,000 feet. Now, the East Slopes route, which is the most popular route, is a fairly gentle Class 2 climb, but it's really, really long. It's 14.5 miles and 4,500 feet of vertical gain, so it's a true lung burner. Climbing Mount Massive is about both altitude and attitude, so on this peak, you truly do either go big or go home. We are finally at our number 2 mountain, and the runner-up is the undisputed king of Colorado, the mighty Mount Elbert, which towers 14,440 feet above sea level. Now, some people refer to Elbert as a gentle giant because there's no real technical way to get to the top, but the 3 major trails are all pretty challenging in their own right. Now, most climbers stick to the North Ridge or East Ridge routes, both of which are solid Class 2. North Ridge route is about 9.8 miles long and 4,500 feet of gain, while the East Ridge is a little bit longer, 11 miles and about 5,300 feet of gain. And if you want to suffer, you're going to go for the Black Cloud route, which is from the south side, and that's 12.3 miles and about 5,700 feet of relentless vertical. And although each of these routes is Class 2, summiting Elbert, the highest peak in the Rockies, is definitely something to be proud of. And finally, the high peak champion of the contiguous United States is Mount Whitney, which stands proudly atop California's eastern Sierra crest at 14,505 feet above sea level. Now, climbing Mount Whitney always requires a permit, and the classic Mount Whitney Trail is a 22-mile round tripper with a 6,100-foot elevation gain. All of this is Class 1 or 2, but don't be fooled. The distance, the altitude, and the iconic granite walls make this an unforgettable climb. Now, for those craving a lot more adventure, the Mountaineers route is the bold choice. This one's Class 3 overall, but with a highly exposed Class 4 section at the top. It is not for everyone and definitely requires a helmet. And whether you choose the Mountaineers route or the Mount Whitney Trail, summiting the highest peak in the lower 48 is an achievement you will never forget. An adventure that crowns your climbing journey and puts you literally on top of the contiguous United States. I really appreciate you joining me for this countdown of the top 10 highest peaks in the lower 48. I'd like to know which one is next on your bucket list. Drop me a comment and let me know. Also, I'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions for future videos. If you enjoyed this adventure, check out all the other videos at High Point Trails. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more epic mountain content. Until next time, keep climbing higher.